If you are homeschooling on the go, whether it's homeschooling in the car or taking your homeschooling with you from place to place, then you're gonna wanna watch this video because today I'm gonna be sharing my 10 favorite tools that I use to help making homeschooling on the go a success. So let's get started. First up is my 20-inch LCD writing tablet. I've had other writing tablets before, but this one takes the cake and is perfect for on-the-go learning. Because it is larger than other LCD tablets out there, I can easily take this and use this for instruction in my co-op or even in my home when I'm working with my kids. I can write instructions on the top, click the button, and it clears the board. But what I love about it is that it also has a lock button. So I can still write on it, right? And I can write whatever I want. But when I click the button, it doesn't disappear. So you don't have to worry about accidentally erasing things. And then when you're ready, you just click the button after you unlock it and it's gone. This has been great for co-op. It has been great for my kids to use for spelling lessons when we want to take spelling on the go. When I want to utilize it, I can utilize it in the car with my kids as well. Whether it's reviewing math problems or other work, it's just a really fun tool to use in your home and your kids will be begging to utilize it. So definitely a great tool to have. Next up is these clipboards with storage. So I have several of these in different colors. I color code each of my kids' school supplies, and in the bottom it just has a little flap that can lift to put pencils, pens, crayons, whatever you need in there. And then on the inside, you actually have quite a bit of space. You can put full-size workbooks in here or rip out sheets if your kids have sheets that they're working on, and then they can easily take a whole day's worth of school with them on the go. This is great for working in the car, but also for working like in doctor's offices, or maybe your kids have sports and the other kids are sitting on the bleachers and need to finish some of their work. This gives them that hard writing surface and storage all in one. Another thing I find really helpful is to have a solid on-the-go teacher bag. I've used ones in the past from 31 Gifts, but they are no longer in business. So I actually found this awesome one on Amazon. It's got a lot of pockets and it can hold all of our tools and our writing supplies. Inside, it can hold all of those clipboards that I mentioned earlier, and it's even big enough to hold my writing tablet inside. So it's very good to store a lot of different things. I really like this, especially if you are taking things to and from maybe a co-op or friend's house. I love this for when my kids are little and they're not quite old enough to carry around all their schoolwork themselves. So I can just have one go bag. We actually have it packed in our cabinet, ready to go, so that my kids can just grab that, throw in whatever last minute things they need, but we can just grab that and go any Friday when we typically take school on the go. The fourth thing I love when it comes to homeschooling on the go is the picture organizer box. You can get these from Michael's, Walmart, Amazon, but they just have these small storage containers that you can usually get multicolored, clear, or like a solid blue. I like the multicolored ones because then I can kind of color code what goes in them, but they work great for storing manipulatives or maybe tiny toys or games that you want to take with you on the go. I love to use these or pencil pouches, either one, to pack along those extra things for learning when I need to take flashcards with me or when I need to take counting bears or whatnot. It's a great way to store the items, and what I like about the picture boxes over the pencil pouches is that it's just a little bit harder protective covering for them and they keep like papers from getting bent. But with the pencil pouches, I love the fact that it can kind of work with some of the more odd shaped items that you might need to be storing. So either one of those are a win in my book. For your kids that are old enough to carry their own supplies, I would recommend investing in really good backpacks for your kids and even lunch boxes for your kids. I remember I got lunch boxes years ago from Aldi's, I think, just as a fun treat for my kids. I figured we'd take them to field trips, but probably not use them much more than that. Well, it turns out they absolutely love to have a lunch bag, and it comes in handy a lot more often than you think. We take them to co-op with either snacks or lunches. We take them when we have afternoon appointments around lunchtime to keep their things hot or cold. We even love to bring lunches to like the park to work on school when we need a change of pace. So having a good lunch bag and a good backpack is another great resource that you can use for homeschooling on the go. The sixth thing you might want to look at is what kind of storage do you have inside of your car. Even if you're not primarily homeschooling in your car, but you are using it to transport you back and forth from different places, having some good storage systems in place in your car can make all the difference in the world. We have 2 different over the headrest organizers in our car. We have one very large one in the back that holds a lot of supplies that we might need. Things like paper towels, we have Ziploc bags, anything you might need for an emergency. I have like a blanket in there in case we need to lay it out somewhere to do school. I even have wipes, even though all my kids are beyond that stage, just because you never know when it might come in handy. So that is more like general stuff that is not homeschooling specific, but when you're on the go, having first aid kits and having things like that at your fingertips is really helpful. Then in the actual seats of our van, we have these over the headrest organizers that have places for them with zipper pockets and pouches for them to keep snacks that they might bring with them or to hold their school books. I love to put in the little pouches a few picture books, and we'll rotate through what is in there so that when we're driving back and forth and on the go all the time, my little ones have picture books they can read. Sometimes I will stick Sudoku puzzles or crossword puzzles or word searches in there for my older ones to kind of keep them occupied as well. We really love to utilize sketchbooks in the car as my kids are listening to audiobooks or other items for them to be able to draw what they're hearing about or write what they're hearing about for the older ones. So again, having a place for all that to be stored so it doesn't end up all over your car is really helpful. Speaking of listening to things in the car, one of the other tools that I find really helpful is to have a connector that you can use to connect your phone to your speakers. So I will link down below to the ones that we have, but there are lots of options out there. You can usually get them inexpensively. They just plug into your headphone jack and then can plug into your car, and it will allow you to be able to listen to lots of different audiobooks and podcasts and things like that and take advantage of that school on the go. For school on the go, when listening in the car is not as much of an option, but you need to be able to have auditory resources that you can use in another setting, we love to use MP3 players. We have found some really affordable, easy to use MP3 players that don't have access to online or access to pictures and videos and things like that. It's just a basic MP3 player that I'll link down below. We have things like their spelling lists on these. We have a lot of their history or their science on there that they can listen to. Of course, in addition to that, there is some fun music. I have a few that are just for school, and so they have nothing extra. And then the kids, a few of the older ones have gotten their own personal ones, and it has a mixture of school and fun items. But that's another great way to be able to take things with you. And going right along with that, number 9 would be a set of good headphones. We've used several different headphones over the years. We like the iClever ones for younger kids. They're just better padded. They have automatic levels on them where you can't crank it all the way up and the kids can't hurt their hearing with it. My older kids prefer to use in-ear headphones, so lots of options that you can do. Find a brand that you like that fits your ears well and your child's needs well. They have Bluetooth and wired and not wired and all the different options out there, but getting a set of headphones is really helpful. My kids will even utilize this when we are like at speech therapy or things like that and they're waiting on a sibling. They're able to attach that to their tablets even and do some online game opportunities and learning opportunities, or even like they're teaching textbook curriculum and things like that without having to have that blare out for everyone around them. The 10th thing, of course, is finding good curriculum that you can take on the go with you. A couple of my favorites, this is not an extensive list, but a couple of my favorites is Story of the World and Biblioplan for History. Both offer auditory options, so you can have things for learning on the go. We love for math being able to use teaching textbooks because my kids can use it on their devices without internet connection, so that's hugely helpful. We enjoy for science, Apologia, and then of course we love all of our audiobooks. For grammar, we enjoy Grammar Galaxy as it has a lot of the lessons on audio, and that is just a really brief list. There are so many curriculums that can be easily used, and if you don't want audio, you can also look at workbook-based ones that you can easily take those workbooks with you. If the workbooks are a little too big and bulky to take, that's where pulling out a few sheets and put them in those clipboards can be really helpful as well. Let me know down in the comments, what are some of your favorite resources or tools for learning on the go? And want to learn a few more tips when it comes to how to homeschool on the go more effectively? Check out this video here.